Hello Key Stage 1, I hope you had a lovely weekend. Welcome to day 1 of week 10 for your writing lessons. This week we will be carrying on with your diary entries. Let's take a look at our learning objectives for this week. So for today, tomorrow and day 3, your learning objective is to write a diary entry. On day 4, your learning objective is to edit and improve your writing. And day 5, on Friday's lesson, you will be publishing your finished diary entry. Before we get started with today's lesson, I would like you to complete some retrieval practice. I'd like you to go and complete the Quickfire 5 Key Stage 1 grammar quiz for day 1. Okay, so that brings us to today's lesson, lesson 1. Your learning objective is to write a diary entry. Let's have a look at your success criteria for the next 3 lessons. So hopefully by the end of these 3 lessons you will be able to say, I can use my planning to help me write a diary entry. I can also organise my writing into paragraphs. And I can even reread my work to make sure it makes sense. As this week is going to be slightly different, I have outlined what this week's learning will look like. So it's a slightly different format for this week. So for day 1, today, there is this teaching video to help you get started with writing your diary entry. You have already done your retrieval quiz. And today you'll be writing your first draft for the opening and the first paragraph of the diary entry. Tomorrow, you'll be writing your second paragraph for your diary entry. And on day 3, Wednesday, you've got a retrieval quiz and then you are writing the third and final paragraph and then the closing of your diary entry. On day 4, there will be another teaching video and we will be looking at editing and improving your work. And then on Friday, day 5, you will have a retrieval quiz and you will be publishing your finished diary entries. So the first thing I would like you to do for today's lesson is to find your diary entry plan that you completed on Friday last week. I would like you to reread your diary entry to someone in your household or someone at school. Now that you've read through your plan from last week and hopefully you managed to reread it, including all those key features that we looked at last week for a diary entry, I'm going to show you how I've started writing up my diary entry plan onto my draft template. I've already started writing up the first little bit, so I'm going to carry on with you today. So I would need to complete the date and trace over my diary entry opening, Dear Diary. That's what you'll need to do when it comes to doing yours. I've already started writing up this first couple of sentences here. So I have got, if we look at my plan, I've got that little picture of the moon that I drew to remind me that I'm going to start it with, last night was amazing. So I've used some of my key vocabulary in my draft. The next sentence, I was in my bedroom minding my own business. Next, I'm going to move on to this part of my plan. So I have got a window because Tom was looking out of his window. So I'm going to say then, with a capital letter, start my sentence. And remember, we're writing in chronological order. So words like then, next, finally, help the reader know when things happen. So then. Then I saw something spooky. And if you look at my key vocabulary for my first paragraph, that word spooky is one of my key words, so I'm going to make sure I include that in my draft. Then I saw something spooky. remembering to dot my I's and cross my T's after I finish writing my word. Great, there's my next sentence. Then I saw something spooky. I need to put a full stop on the end, mustn't forget my punctuation. Let's have a look at the next part. I have drawn a picture of a shadow. If you remember at the beginning of the story, there was the shadows of the little girl pirates. Then I saw something spooky. There were shadows outside my window. When you're writing yours, I've got quite a few red words in here, so make sure you're using your word mats to help you write your sentences. There were shadows. I'm sure your handwriting will be far better than mine. My window. Okay, let's just take a look at what I've written so far. Thinking about those key features of a diary entry, I will have written my opening, Dear Diary, will have got my date at the top. I've got some descriptive words in there. So I've got spooky and describing what last night was like. It was amazing. So I've got some of my key words in there. I would then go on, carrying on with my plan, following my little pictures and my key words to help me finish my first paragraph. So the next part would be, I saw a pirate ship and some little pirates looking rough and tough. I asked them if I could come aboard, and the little girl pirate roared, welcome aboard. So that would be my final few sentences to my first paragraph, as the first paragraph is just setting the scene for what happened at the beginning of the story for Tom. So remember to use your sound mats to help you spell your words using your phonics. Make sure you're sounding out those words. And don't forget punctuation, capital letters at the beginning of your sentences, finger spaces between your words. Use your best joined up handwriting and make sure that you are saying aloud what you would like to write first before you write it down. And then finally, thinking about those wow word choices or those key vocabulary that you have written on your plan. I'm looking for fantastic descriptive words to make this diary entry really exciting. Good luck with your writing. Okay, let's just quickly go over the activity again. So today's activity will be writing up just the opening and the first paragraph of your diary entry. So you've just seen how I would use my plan to help me write my first paragraph, and you will be doing the same for yours. The ideas that I used in my diary entry were just some ideas that you might want to use for yours, but I'd like you to write it in your own words. So don't copy my version, but it's there to help you if you need it. Remember to use your sound mats and all these key features for your writing, punctuation, finger spaces, joined up writing, etc. Okay, once you have finished writing your opening and first paragraph, today's plenary, I would like you to read your work to someone else. Make sure you are speaking loudly and clearly. Let's take a look at whether you have met the learning objective for today. And don't forget that this learning objective is for tomorrow, day 2, and day 3 as well. So you've got 3 days to achieve your success criteria. So the learning objective was to write a diary entry. So you've written your first part. Give yourself a big tick in the air if you can now say, I can use my planning to help me write a diary entry. I can also organise my writing into paragraphs, and I can even reread my work to make sure it makes sense. I have already briefly outlined that for the next 2 days, day 2 and 3, you will be carrying on writing the first draft of your diary entry. But just to remind you, for tomorrow's lesson, day 2, you will be writing the second paragraph of your diary entry, and this will outline the main event of the story, The Night Pirate. Remember, it's from Tom's perspective, so use your planning from last week and make sure your writing is including all of those key features that you included in your planning. On day 3, you will be writing the third paragraph for your diary entry, remembering that that is what happened at the end of the story for Tom. Make sure you include all the key features from your planning. And finally, also on day 3, you'll be writing your closing. And then that will complete your first draft of your diary entry. Good luck with your writing, and I am really looking forward to seeing you on Thursday for our next lesson.